Hello once again, watchers of good movies. My name is Nick Pell, and this is once again coming from my white room. Now tonight I'm going to be talking about Godzilla. This is the 2014 movie which has just come out today, and I just got back from it, so I'm going to be talking about it. There will be very minor spoilers in this review, so if you haven't seen it, don't be too terribly worried. I will be talking about the end of the movie towards the very end of the video, so if you haven't seen it, you should be safe until I tell you otherwise. And for people who have seen it, you can see my thoughts on the ending to the film. So getting right into it, the intro credit sequence was one of the cooler parts of the film for me, just for the fact that it kind of shows the history of evolution in mankind. And then it ends with the hydrogen bombs that were dropped in the 50s, which were originally said to be experiments, but they were designed to try and kill Godzilla. And so that is just kind of a cool sequence of opening the film in general, which I really enjoyed. Bryan Cranston and Aaron Taylor Johnson, they both are great in this film. I thought that Bryan Cranston, despite his shortness of time in the movie itself, I thought he did great. He captured all of his scenes perfectly, and I just love seeing the guy on screen. Aaron Taylor Johnson, this is the first thing I've seen him in since the Kick-Ass films, so it was a little difficult to reverse how I've seen him in those films to like his portrayal in this one. But I mean, he did fine in the film. I do think that he was a little bit stoic in his personality. Maybe that's how he's supposed to be in the film, but it just kind of bugged me, and it almost seemed like he wasn't necessarily required for the film in general. Like anybody could have played his character and the film would have been no different. Also, the family bit in the movie, he has a family, he has a wife and kid, and a lot of times it's going back to what's happening with them while this whole thing is happening with him and Godzilla and all the fights that are happening. And it just didn't really seem necessary to me. I think the film could have been just as good if his character had no family and he was just living on his own for whatever reason and just got roped into the same circumstance. I understand that's kind of the driving force behind why he's doing everything, kind of, but it just, it didn't really seem completely necessary for the film itself. Godzilla in this film looks amazing. They have done such a good job with developing the creature and the creatures also. He just looks awesome. He's huge as all hell, and he just wreaks destruction wherever he is in a city, and it just looks amazing. The fight scenes are awesome, but the majority of the fight scenes are towards the very end of the film, and that was something which kind of bugged me, is that we would see the very beginning of some fights and then it would just cut to the next day or show us just a brief image of the fight in progress, and then it would cut to the next day, and it just kind of seemed like a cheat to me, just because I want to see these sequences happen. But that being said, when the final fight does happen and we get to see Godzilla fight against whatever he's fighting in all of his monstrous glory, it is very rewarding having that happen, and so I think that's kind of a plus to the film itself, despite the flaw that I just said. Overall, the movie is actually really, really good, despite what some critics are saying. I honestly really enjoyed it. You obviously have to suspend a large amount of reality in the situation. People die in the thousands in this film as well. There's places that just get destroyed by epic fights that happen overnight, and there's a huge amount of death, probably almost more than in Man of Steel. They don't really go unnoticed either. You see the aftermath, people trying to find people in the wreckage, and just trying to find survivors and families trying to find each other. And it's fairly realistic in terms of kind of what would happen in the situation if these creatures started to attack and fight. We see a large amount of the movie through the eyes of the military, just because they are the first responders for these types of things, and just the tactics that they choose to use in this film. So, that being said, I'm going to be talking about the ending to the film now, just really quickly. So if you have not seen Godzilla and you plan to see it in the near future sometime, probably stop watching now. I thank you for watching as far as you have. Like, favorite, comment, and subscribe if you so choose. I appreciate it immensely, and keep on watching later. So in the ending fight, Aaron Taylor Johnson's character, he is dropped off a plane, and he goes into the city with a bunch of his comrades to grab this nuke, which needs to be disarmed, or else it's going to kill hundreds of thousands more people than are already going to be killed. So then Godzilla is having this huge fight with these two big creatures just in the city itself. We see the city just basically destroyed at this point, and it's just crazy, and we get to actually see Godzilla finally fight these things, and it's so rewarding, and I loved it. They decide to take the nuke away, and in the place that the nuke is, he notices a bunch of eggs of these creatures which are going to hatch at some point, and he realizes, oh hey, these are probably going to hatch. I should do something about it so we don't have 10,000 more of these things roaming the earth and kill us all. Because Godzilla cannot take out all of those things. He got wiped out almost by 2. So he lights a fuel tank on fire and has it explode and kills all of the fetuses that are stuck in their column. This pisses off the mother. She goes to look. Looks like Aaron Taylor Johnson's character might actually die. I would love it if he had, actually, because that would have been something very original that a film does, is kill off the main character towards the end of the film and just let the central actual character, Godzilla, take over from there on out. But that obviously doesn't happen. Godzilla seems very hell-bent on protecting this guy, because every time he gets into some sort of bad situation where he's face to face with the bad creature, Godzilla just comes in, like, pushes it away, or like picks it up and throws it, or just attacks it, and it's just crazy. Also, one very cool thing which happened towards the end, he spews like this blue lightning flame thing out of his mouth. That caught me way off guard when that happened, and it was just so really cool. And then that's how he takes out the final one too. He just picks it up, rips its mouth open, and just like spews giant flame into its mouth, and I was just like, holy shit, this is amazing. He goes into the city, he collapses. People think that he's dead, and thankfully he is not. I would have been kind of upset if he was just, nope, done. No chance of a sequel whatsoever. And he wakes up, and he just walks out of the city. And one thing which did kind of bug me is the fact that the end headline that a news report said is Savior of the City. Like, King of Monsters, Savior of the City. And it's like, is Godzilla just out protecting the human race now from destruction from other creatures, which, if there is a sequel, will inevitably pop up? Or is he just tired now and he's going to recuperate until he has another reason to attack? It just didn't really make sense. Like, why is he so loyal to the human race, and for what purpose is he fighting these things other than just to be the king predator among predators? It was just one thing which kind of threw me out of the moment, and just like, okay, well, I guess he's just going to be nice to people and just stay hidden until the next crisis arises. Another really, really small thing which kind of bugged me is how quick it just went to the credits, and the credits weren't really significant at all. They just went right into the scrolling credits, which I was just like, okay, no significance at all. Usually with these types of films, they have some sort of cool, at least at the beginning, a cool credit sequence where they just go through all the main actors, and they just end with like the title of the movie and then go to the scrolling credits. This just went right into the scrolling credits. It just seemed like instantaneous. It just wasn't a good transition. That was just something which kind of bugged me towards the very end of the film. But overall, I really did enjoy Godzilla. I thought it was a great film in its entirety. I liked it a lot. I would highly recommend seeing it. If you have seen Godzilla, leave in the comments down below what you thought of the movie itself. Did you like it? Did you hate it? I'd love to know. Like, favorite, comment, and subscribe if you so choose. I'd appreciate it immensely. Make sure to go buy my short story called The Bridge. Link is in the description down here. And as always, my good people, my name is Nick Pell. And once again, keep on watching.